So that's how it works, right? So, that it's very simple to see things in that way. Okay, so moving forward from there, what do you do as a deva, right? As a deva or as an asura, because we know you're a deva, you're a light being, you're a being of God that gets the energy of God, and the asura, or the beings of darkness, well, they don't get the energy of God in the same way, right? They're beings of darkness. So visualize your golden light of God that you get as a center. We've talked about center before on this channel, the concept of a center, an energy center, right? Who basically distributes the energy to the stories around them. So think about it in that way. Okay, you're the energy center, right? You're distributing to the stories around you, right? You're a deva. You're an energy center. You're a king of your own kingdom. And then there's the hierarchy, obviously, of the kingdom, so you're not necessarily the king, but look at it in that way. You're the king, you're your own center, you're your own being, your light being, and you get your energy, your life energy, the light from God, which fountains out from the energy center of all the centers, okay? And we call that really the center. You are a center, and then that is the center, okay? And that's where it comes from. So when you look at it from that perspective, you think about the story of the Devas and the Asuras, which is a very true story, right? And yes, the Devas and the Asuras and the Rakshasas do reside at that realm, which is the second realm you'll experience. You have this realm of physical here, which is your realm of experience, your realm of judgment, where your decisions are being watched and judged by God. You get to the next realm after this death, you get to the next one, right? The next one at that point is your preliminary to judgment realm. So you're still being judged, but what are you going to do? What kind of decision are you going to take? You know you're dead. You get to the Vaitarani River. What are you going to do? You're going to jump in the river. You're going to know about God's bridge or see God's bridge and take God's bridge across the river. You're going to try to cross by yourself, or you're going to go back into the woods, try to go into the woods where there's no path and see if you can go back from where you came from. Maybe even be allowed to bounce back, special permission from God. Are you going to take the other path, the large path where you want for the non-believers? You get on it and you just get chopped, and then straight to the judgment to hell. And then are you going to take the other path, which is the path that brings you to the realms of the demons, right? The realms of the Asuras, the Rakshasas, all the demonic beings. So visualize it this way. You take a path in the woods, and then they're going to have like maybe signs saying, hey, come here, come to our path. You get there, you're greeted there, and then what they do is they basically just capture you when you get into their realm, and they'll basically use you as basically just energy, food, sustenance, and there's a hierarchy that basically determines who gets what and all these things, and basically the realms behind the realm of you get into a city, right? When you cross into their city of the Asuras and the Rakshasas, and it's illusion magic of the Rakshasas that make it look very nice, okay? But basically behind that is a whole realm, okay? A whole realm. So imagine it that way. It's not just a city of them, but there's a whole realm that exists, lands and all that are divided and owned by different asuras and all these different things, and they distribute their own world and have their own world, and how that works. Okay? So, it's not about that you're at war with them, it's that they basically see you as food. Okay, and they also the way that they reproduce, right, is by taking a deva, right, let's say a human, right, or any sentient intelligent vehicle, any sentient intelligent being that has a vehicle, a body, to do activities with, okay, to take a deva that has the energy of God, that should be continuing their path and taking the bridge of God, right? The bridge over the Vaitarani River that brings to paradise, brings to heaven, the one that's manned by the Archangel of Death and his assistant angels. Okay? Yes, the cultures do come in and come together. Of course they do. Of course they do. Right? How could it make sense any other way? So, so that's basically it, right? So, from a perspective of a deva, right? You're supposed to be taking the bridge of God and going to paradise, or you're going to have reincarnation, fall in the river and potentially be up for reincarnation, or you're going to hell. That's your usual path. But some people, they might want to, for example, stay at that stage after death, before the judgment of God. Because they're scared of the judgment of God. They know they've been a horrible person, all these things. So they might decide to go into the realm of the asuras, right? And to become their plaything, essentially. But understand that you have no rights there or anything deep down. They basically frown upon you. You have no rights. You're nothing. You're very, very cunning. You're able to make a financial a position. Anyone could just kill you at any time. It's, at that point, and then you go to the judgment of God if you die in that realm as well, right? So you have to understand that, that's not a good solution. Yeah, what you want to do is be a good person and have the stories that get you across the bridge of God and the judgment of God. Okay, and if you're a bad person, you want to basically switch right now, right away when you get this message, and you want to basically become good. And you also, anybody who gets this message, you want to share this with everybody so that they can do the same. That's the truth of things. The time to be a good person is now. And basically there's a difference between saying things and doing things. There's a difference between different degrees of everything, but you want to be a good person. Okay? You really do. You really do. Because you're being judged and you're being watched at every single moment. Everybody is. By the system. And these, all your actions will be like part of your judgment as you're reviewed, right? To see whether you can go to heaven, or what you go to reincarnation, or you go to hell. So in the realm of the asuras, yeah. So it's a big realm. Exactly. There's a realm behind it with lands and all this thing, like a vast realm behind the realm of the asuras. Okay, and all the beings of darkness. Okay, so here we have all the beings of light, but that's where they intersect at the Vaitarani River, right? But they can also influence on the world here with Asura Prakriti, right? So everything that we see here, all the things that are cutthroat in our society, that don't make sense, all the things that we could solve, for example, just by putting in place universal income. All of a sudden, no more poverty, no more disease from that. People have money to invest in their areas, their personal areas where they live all over the world. It brings financial wealth to everybody. It's a plug into the economy. It doesn't replace the rest of the economy. We just plug in universal income for everybody. We move forward from there. It solves all the problems. So many problems. It's a root solution, right? Not a solution to one of the effects. It's really at the root level, and it basically cuts so many effects that come from people not having enough money, right? Including people being able to be corrupted, for example, in society. Because if you know a society is basically giving you from birth a right to have your own place to reside, to be able to pay all your bills, to have enough food and all these things, and sustenance, and to be comfortable, and even be able to do a vacation or two once a year on that universal income for everybody. Well, at that point, it's very hard for people to be corrupted, for example, because they know that society is a great thing, is really looking out for all of us. All of a sudden, society is not cutthroat. When you're born in this world, it says, now you have to work for us to survive, life's tough, and all these things, and all of a sudden it becomes welcome to society. We've organized society so that you're going to be financially well off at any time. From the minute you're born, you get your universal income, and you'll be a part of society that we treasure and value more than money. Money is just a way of value, of treasuring you. So we give you that money and those means as a new person in society to have all the opportunities in life that you deserve. And we do encourage also that people do keep working as much as they can, and make even more money, but because some jobs have to be done in society, right? It's not about shutting down our society. It's about more prosperity for society. And some people, for example, might want to devote themselves to spiritual pursuits or other pursuits, and that universal income gives them the means to invest, to create businesses, to invest in society and all these things, which might be their path instead of, for example, working for a job on a salary or something like that. But some of those still need to be done, right? So, we're looking at jobs that, for example, are much more difficult, or or much more challenging, or much more dangerous. Well, maybe people won't want to do them anymore, so we'll have to pay more for those jobs. but the society's going to be richer because we'll have that extra layer of universal income. Now, from the perspective of God, how does God help him in all this? Well, God, tells you right away. God listens to you when you talk to God in your head or out loud. When you think that you're talking to God, a tunnel is created within the system, and God's systems are a version of himself that listens to the prayers of people, listens to your prayers. When you make a request for God to help with something, it might not be in the way that you hope that it'll help, but God does make the effort to help people with miracles and make things happen to help them in their life. This is a promise, So basically, what I ask and what God asks, is that when you ask for help in your life with something, in addition to having your life and having everything around you given to you, your life given to you, when you ask for help for anything else, even if you know that it might not be granted in the way that you helped for, but you're asking for help in general. You're asking for help about something, to God, out loud or in your head, What I ask is, as you organize society, all of you together, so that there's associations that gather the donations that I ask that you give, When you ask for something from God, make a donation according to what you can give from normally, You don't have to ruin yourself. A little donation to the fund, as much as you feel comfortable giving, as much as you think it's valuable compared to how much money you have asking something from God. And I also ask if you don't really need help with something, if it's okay, ask when you need. It's always cool to talk to God, but if you're asking for something all the time, I say make it important. If you're asking for God, and if it's important, give a little donation to this association that gathers these funds. As everybody who decides to participate, and we can even promote this to everybody who receives universal income, right? As a way to say, all of these funds, that are accumulated and offered, in thanks, if you will, for God for listening and helping if He can, right? We all put that and accumulate all that money together, and that becomes a reserve fund for the universal income that we're distributing to everybody. Now I'm gonna have fun with y'all. You know me, I like to have fun, right? So how are we gonna have fun? Let's go back and say, you know what? Ask God for as many things as you want. You don't only have to ask when it's important. Develop a relationship with God. Talk to Him. God, I'd really love this, By the way, God, I'm going to go make this offering. Maybe you're listening. Oh, I know you're listening. That's right. Sri Rawa Bhagwan confirmed it for us. Thanks for listening. And I don't know if you can help with this thing, but I'd like this today, or I'd like this week, or I'd like this this month, or I'm having this problem with this side of my life and I'm looking for help, or talk to God. It's not about just asking when it's important. Develop a relationship with God in your way. Talk to Him. God is listening, and is basically aware of everything you intend for God to listen to. He's also aware of everything that you do that you don't intend Him to listen to. So I hope that's my way of closing the joke. So on that note, as a deva, right? What do, right? You have these asuras that have their realm, and they want to lure you into their realm. That's their purpose, And they're not very happy that I'm sharing this information, and they probably don't want this to be shared, right? Will it be shared? Well, who knows, right? Right. At the same time, what I want to see is the asuras basically say, enough is enough, because what happens is they can't grow more than a certain amount, right? Because if the conditions set by Rawa are that if creation goes more than 53% bad, at that point evil, then at that point creation ends. So they know right away that they're restrained, right? They can't become more than 53%. So they have to limit their growth, how many devas they can turn. But they can bring as many of you as they want in and feed on you. That doesn't matter. You know, it's just they can't turn you into devas. They can't make more of themselves, and they don't really care about making more of themselves all that much because they have enough of them in their own realms and all that stuff. You know, they maybe make more of you just to have more slaves, basically. You know, very low level demons that they'll turn, which are humans, for example, or other beings that are turned at that level into a being of darkness, and it's an unfortunate thing. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, so as a deva, right, as a human being, right, as a sentient, intelligent being of another type or human, you know, what do you do with that, right? Well, what you want to do is you want to take the Bridge of God. So when you get to the Vaitarani River at the end of your life, right, you want to get to the Bridge of God, and you want to share all this knowledge that you understand from all of this with everybody you encounter here in the physical and there. Now, not in every single day of life. You don't have to become a preacher in the street kind of thing. But you know, whenever you're having a conversation, a meeting with someone that you care about, you know, you share this information with them, and you say, hey, it's never cool to talk about religious stuff, you know, because it's a difficult subject because not everybody agrees. But this is just for informational purposes. Once you know, don't worry. Once you get there, you'll remember. You know, and then maybe once you get there, you'll remember the other part that he said. And once you get there, now that you have this knowledge, to the Vaitarani River, share this knowledge with everyone that you encounter there, because you're also being judged there, and you're being judged if you're the type of person who'll just try to save them yourself, or if you'll save everybody else around you. If you're just in it for yourself, or if you're in it for society, because basically, you know, both are part of being a normal person, a good person, and that's the type of person that'll be going to heaven. You know, you have to think about these things. Some people say, well, I just do my own thing and I don't hurt anyone else. Well, okay, so you're the kind of person who does his own thing. Okay, at least you're not hurting anyone else. Thanks for listening, everyone.